Is your money kryptonite? Are you a saver? Are you a spender? Are you all about the designer bags or giving all your money away to somebody that needs it? Or maybe you stash every penny that you earn and you're afraid to spend. Or are you that individual that has to keep on working, and then all of a sudden you make money, you reach your target, and then that's not enough? Believe it or not, we all have money personalities, strengths, weaknesses, money kryptonites that keep us stuck and in patterns with money that we don't want. Hi, I'm Tracy from the Money Boss Show, and I'm here to help you step into your personal power, make more money, build the life of your dreams. If that's what you want, buckle up, like the episode, subscribe, and let's do this. We all have a money personality. And in the last couple episodes, I've been introducing the Sacred Money Archetypes, a brilliant system that shares with you your money personality. There are 8 archetypes, and we each have a score, so to speak. When we take the quiz, you'll get a score in every one of the areas, but we'll have 3 dominant personality types. And then at the end of the day, your primary sacred money archetype. So, what are sacred money archetypes, Tracy? It is a personality system dedicated 100% to money. It shares with you your strengths, your gifts, your challenges, your weakness, your self-sabotages. It will share your sacred money contract, your sacred money destiny, and all about your archetype. Who you are. How do you feel about money? Do you like money? Do you hate money? Do you not even care about money? That is what the sacred money archetype system tells you. But more important than that is it provides you with deep knowing about your money habits and patterns. And this is super important because if we want to improve our life, step into our personal power, make more money, build our dream life, that requires money. And our money habits, good and bad, will either help us or sabotage us. And that is where the sacred money archetypes come in, because you can take the quiz. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And you can find out everything about your archetype, everything about you. You can get a deep knowing about what makes you tick when it comes to money. And then you can manage your downside, your weaknesses, step into your strength, and then start to make money in alignment. I have been fascinated by money pretty much all my life. I fully believe I am here to help people pursue, seek, create financial freedom. Because at the end of the day, life is expensive. It requires a lot of money. But if you're sitting there watching this and you know you're made for more and you want to build a business, build your dream life, you know you're smart, you're keen, your relationship, I call it your dance with money and life, is going to be hand in hand. You're going to be working or building a business. And at all times, you're working on your mindset and your money game. And it is critical to have a peaceful, strong, knowing relationship with money. And that is where I was just mind blown when I came across the sacred money archetypes. And for me personally, I mentioned it in the last episode, it was the final piece of the puzzle to help me understand myself when it came to money. And then when I realized that this was just such a critical foundation for coaching people on money, I knew I had to have more information, become part of it, offer it as part of my coaching roster of information. So let's dive into the sacred money archetypes. It is a system that is designed to help you discover your money personality. There are 8 archetypes, and they are each unique in the way that they think, feel, act about money. Each of the archetypes are given all the information about how they think, feel, and act about money and what their destiny is and how they can best align with money to have a healthy, happy life. So let's dive in. 8 sacred money archetypes. We're going to go over a high level sharing of the archetypes, but this episode, we're going to focus on the kryptonite, the sabotage, the dark side, because the gifts and strengths and destiny is one thing, and we'll cover that in another episode. But when it comes to money, our weakness can be a really big weakness. And if we have an overspending money kryptonite pattern or overgiving or sabotaging pattern, it can be financially destructive. And it doesn't take long for money mistakes to add up, don't we know? So let's go over the sacred money archetypes. The first one is the ruler. They are the inner empire builder. They are here to build empires, build businesses that benefit themselves but benefit others. I'm a ruler, sacred money archetype. And I am here to build platforms, which I have, my media companies and the Money Boss Collective, to share information that empowers people to see their unique brilliance, have confidence, and step into their dream life. So that is the ruler, and that is their strength. They love working, they have an enthusiasm for it. But the shadow side of every trait is the shadow side, right? There's a good trait and then there's a bad scale to that trait. So somebody that loves working, that's amazing because they're going to have the stamina and the endurance and the natural interests to build a business. But on the flip side, enough is never enough. They'll set a goal, they'll reach it, and then they're setting a new target without even celebrating an accomplishment. I've done that all the time. It's like, I'm going to get this client. You sell this client on advertising for my media companies that I own. And then it's like, okay, next deal. And you accomplish some really great things, but it's like, next, not enough, reach this. So it's a really never ending moving target with the ruler. And the kryptonite of that is they will put their personal relationships, their family, their friend, their leisure to the side and continue to focus on working all the time. Enough is never enough. And if you are an individual that feels that way, you know that you're just on a treadmill all the time because you want more and you're never satisfied. So that is your kryptonite. A ruler's money kryptonite is that enough is never enough. Their success is a moving target, leaving them feeling unfulfilled and behind the 8 ball all the time. Number 2 is the accumulator. As you can imagine, this one's the inner banker. So they are excellent at living within their means and often below their means. They're the one that has a budget. They really pay attention. They go by their budget. They're fantastic at saving. They often don't get themselves into a lot of consumer debt because they live within their means. Excellent. But now the money kryptonite. They are tight with their money. I've heard them referred to as the inner tightwad. I'm also an accumulator as well as my second archetype. So I know this individual will stash money away like that squirrel storing up nuts for the winter. A bit of that scarcity where the ruler is enough is never enough. It's I need more, I need more. With the accumulator, their feeling of needing more is of fear that their money is going to disappear, that somebody's going to take it, that it's going to run out, and then they are going to be at risk, right? Accumulators store money to make sure they are safe. So the money kryptonite to that one is they have a hard time investing in themselves because they see their money, they manage their money, they know how much is in there, and they really nurture their money and hoard it, so to speak. So if a course or some learning comes up or an investment that they can make to further grow themselves and their business or their skill set, they are very cautious to make that investment. And then, of course, the kryptonite to that is, well, if you don't spend, you don't grow. And if you don't grow, you don't increase your income. So it's a little bit of a self-sabotage. That's their money kryptonite. The third one is the Maverick. Out of all the sacred money archetypes, this one would be kindly referred to as the gambler. They're the rebel with a cause. So they are the archetype that is most willing to take on big deals. And any of the archetypes can be in any profession. But when I picture this, just for mind clarity, when I picture the Maverick, I picture them as the person in the casino just bend the house and the home, or the real estate investor, the developer, people that are really comfortable with complex and big deals. There are a lot of the sacred money archetypes that are not comfortable or don't even care about money enough to pursue big deals at that level. But the Maverick is really there for big wins. They're out there to win. And of course, when we hear that, you know that the money kryptonite on that one is if you're willing to gamble big to win big, there is the potential of losing big. So while the Maverick has the courage and just the inner gumption to put themselves out there where they have the opportunity to win big, they got to be careful about jeopardizing their financial security by throwing it all on the line. So, gambling big. Yes, we want those big deals. We want to make a lot of money, but that pattern can leave you in the feast and famine. You win big, you lose big. You win big, you lose big. So for the Maverick, their money kryptonite is just being very erratic with money and just being throwing caution to the wind. So their task in life is to pursue those big deals, but also making sure they take care of their financial security. So the next one is the Alchemist. They are the inner idealist and they are full of ideas. So let's dive into that. This is the individual that is very much, if we would stereotype them, they're the cause maker. They're the ones that are out there looking for equality for everybody. So they have a very mixed relationship, love-hate with money. They know how important it is, but they often hate money because they look to big corporations and see how lopsided money is in the world, how the little guy suffers and all these big companies take so much money and it's all so unfair. They want equality for everybody. So they have a very mixed feeling, love, hate with money. And now, while they're out there trying to help everybody and create equality, their kryptonite is their mixed relationship with money. While they're great at creating business ideas, they would be the friend that has a million zillion business ideas, but they won't put any one of them into action. And they are often starting a lot of things, but not finishing. So their kryptonite, like many of us, we have multiple kryptonites within each archetype. Their kryptonite, too, would be the fact that they have a lot of ideas, but they never implement. So they don't make money. And then their second one would really stem from their archetype is their love-hate relationship. If you are feeling good about money, you're attracting it. But if you're hating it, you're pushing it away. So their kryptonite is their relationship and their ability to sabotage themselves when it comes to making money, when really they are really quite clever and capable of creating money. Hence the name, the alchemists. They create, they're magical. So the alchemists, their kryptonite, it would be their love hate with money. And because of that, their sabotage on never actually implementing and creating good money for themselves. The next one would be the nurturer. As you can imagine, they are the inner sponsor, the inner nurturer. They are that person that is big-hearted, that would give you money, give the shirt off their back. They are really actually quite good with money as well because they nurture it. Just like they nurture people, they nurture their money. They take care of it. They are financially responsible. But here's the thing, because they care so much about people, their kryptonite is giving no matter what it does to their own financial security. So they are a bit of an easy target. Somebody that is always relying on others would spot this person and go, I'm going to see Sally because I've come on hard times. She'll give me money and she probably won't even ask for it back because Sally's so nice. While the nurturers are amazing, big-hearted individuals, they will give and give, and it will affect their own financial security. And not only that, they will give to the point and totally cross any boundaries they may have where it starts to cause resentment because they can't say no, and then people take advantage of them. And then they start resenting people where they have the money kryptonite of no money boundaries. We love the nurturers. They're big-hearted people. They're often in the caregiving arena. So call that your nurses, your teachers, your healthcare aides, your people that are working with the unfortunate. They are the big-hearted people that just care about people. And they really don't care if they have to go without, as long as they can help others. The connector. Out of everybody, this is the archetype that cares the least about money because they're like, well, what is money? We don't care. They are the individual that is always connecting people. So do you know a person? They're like, I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy. Oh, you need that? I'll hook you up. They are the connector. They're often the ones at networking events that are introducing people. They are often in the workplace setting people up for business deals. That is an amazing strength. The kryptonite is that they actually do not care about money. Not only do they not hate it or love it, they're like, money, why do we care? We'll just get by. And they do get by. But they don't take care of themselves. So they are often at the mercy of other people taking care of them. They can be taken advantage of, where we'll get into all the strengths and gifts of each of them deeper in another episode and how to create alignment. Once you take the quiz and we have some free information, you can read more. The connector really needs to care about money. Because at the end of the day, we can't pay our bills on connections and love unless the connections are paying our bills for us. So for the connector, their money kryptonite is they just don't care. They're so busy helping everybody else. Where if they used their connector skills and put on networking events that they charge people to come to connect, they can make money and take care of themselves. Their money kryptonite, the connector, they just don't care about money. Next on the agenda is the romantic. And then we'll do the celebrity. I left the two that have the most spending habits to the end. So the romantic is very much the inner hedonist. That is the slogan for the romantic. They love the finer things in life, the luxury experiences, the fine chocolate, the wine and dine experiences. They love the finer things of life. And they're often very fun to be with because they're going to eat the best, travel the best. They know the best experiences and fun things to do. So they're very often an amazing person to be with. And not only that, they like it for themselves, but mainly they love providing the finer things, the best experiences for themselves and their loved ones, whether that's their family or friends. So if you're hanging out with a romantic, they'll just be helping you wine and dine and taking you to the best things. And they'll be like, the heck with it, I'll cover it. It's all me, because they just want to do that for themselves and other people. Can you imagine what the money kryptonite is of that? They will spend with no concern for tomorrow. They really don't care. They just want what they want right now. And really, they get really mad when they are told what to do with their money. Often the romantics will be like, well, I deserve it. I work hard. And it doesn't matter whether they have the money to do it. They will just say, I deserve it, so I'm going to do it. And they want the finer things in life. The money kryptonite, of course, is they're going to do these things, whether or not they have the money in the account to do it. So, as we can imagine in the money world and money kryptonite, if they don't have a healthy bank account or somebody helping them live their lifestyle, they are using the credit card. So then they get the credit card, as we know, then they have that shame cycle. So their money kryptonite is just wanting the fine dining, the steak budget on the steak life on the wiener and beans budget, the champagne taste on the water budget. That's how they often explain the romantic. And then the celebrity. They, as you can imagine, love the limelight. They love being the center of attention. They love people paying attention to them. They love the finer things, looking good, the best of everything. So the designer bags, the brand name clothing, the fancy shoes, the brand name vehicles, the VIP experiences, posting it on social media. They want to be seen as the celebrity, the successful person. So, as you can imagine, if they need the best of everything, experiences, handbags, vehicles, unless, again, they have a very healthy bank account or somebody helping them bankroll their celebrity lifestyle, they are often spending outside of their means. So that means credit card debt, right? Because they want that bag and they need that bag to look good. And well, that old bag was so last year, so they need the new bag. And don't forget, there's no judgment here. That's the beauty with the sacred money archetypes. Every archetype has a strength and a gift and their weaknesses and their destiny and their personality. Nobody is better than anybody else. No trait is better than anybody else because each trait is a sliding scale. So I would say an interest in making money, call it the neutral. So you put it neutral, like you have a healthy relationship with making money. That's great. Now you slide it all over to the ruler who's obsessed with making money and it's never enough. That's unhealthy. And then you slide that trait all the way over to the connector that doesn't care. They don't care about money, and that's unhealthy. So there is no trait that is amazing, so to speak. There are pros and cons with each of those traits, and there are pros and cons with each personality. The beautiful part of the sacred money archetypes is you just learn who you are. And before you do the quiz, you'll probably have a feeling about who you are. You'll do the quiz. And to me, when I did it, I was very in tune with my money game and did a lot of other personality tests and was pretty locked in on my personality, so to speak, and how I felt about money, cared about money. I had been doing business and owning businesses for 15 years. So I kind of had a really good feeling, really good understanding of my relationship with money. So I walked into it going, okay, I think I know what I'm all about, and I'm going to guess I'm this, this, this. But I took the quiz that I'll tell you about right away. And literally, I almost, I can't even remember. Maybe I did cry. When something understands you so deeply and on such a personal level as money, it will provide you with such a feeling of deep knowing, of deep relief, of peace, and self acceptance. I mentioned this in the last episode. I love making money, not only for myself, but it just helps me show up and help other people. It provides security for me to make sure that I can take care of myself no matter what comes in my life. That is the thing I was most concerned about. I didn't want to be at the mercy of a husband making all the money and dictating how I can spend money or not. And there's no toxic feminism here. I'm not into that. But we each have our feelings in our relationship and our desires about money. And when I took the quiz and seen that I was a ruler, an accumulator, and then the third one was a maverick, I said, yeah, that makes sense. But I also just dropped my shoulders and I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because secretly, I did hold a little bit of money shame when it came to how much I cared about money. Because you look around and most people were enjoying their life, and here I am working, starting to run a business, doing this, and I'd put off fun at all times. And I couldn't understand why I just couldn't have fun and deal with all that work stuff later. I judged myself. And then I took the quiz and seen that I was a ruler and an accumulator and a maverick. And I said, oh. And while I could have understood that without the quiz and the framework, seeing it and having some validation and going, okay, you're not broken. This is just the way you are, like introverted, extroverted, or the DISC assessment, or Enneagram, or all the other ones kind of provides you with a feeling of knowing. And to me, at the root of all life is to know yourself, to uncover your gifts and your baggage, and to bring what you are so good at to the world for the joy of yourself and potentially for others. Whether you're an amazing singer, you might sing professionally or in the choir or at church, but maybe you just love singing and you sing in the shower and you give yourself permission to express your gift. To me, the whole goal of life is that hero's journey, starting off as a baby and learning and being programmed and then getting knowledge and unprogramming yourself and going, wait a minute, I don't like this. That is cold. Let's move towards this. And then just doing this amazing journey, your hero's journey, where you start to uncover who you are and what you like. There's nothing better than that. And then stepping into it, whether it's for a business or just in your personal time. A prime example, I worked with a lawyer in Winnipeg. I'm from Canada, Manitoba, Canada, and a client, she was a lawyer and very successful. She's about the same age as me, and that's a couple years ago. So call her mid 30s, maybe a few years older. So mid 30s and 40s. And she had kind of reached that point. She's like, okay, I make what I make. I've done well, but I'm not finding joy. And then we chatted about business a little bit and how once you do that business journey, you kind of max out on your fulfillment. And she said, you know what I'm doing? I used to be a professional dancer when I was a kid, or not a professional, whatever level she was at. She's like, I danced all my life and I quit, I think around high school or university, because I'm going to be a big serious lawyer, is kind of what she said. She said, I don't care if I am old. I don't care if I'm out of practice. I went back to dancing classes and she said, I am just like so happy. So your gift doesn't need to be monetized. You are just here to bring out what the creator gave to you. And that might be being a mom, being a builder, being a landscaper, being a communicator, being a painter, a graphic designer. Look at this big, brilliant world. Now, the day and age that we live in, we have the internet, we have the ability to learn and express our uniqueness. Where my grandparents, it's survival, like, let's farm. My grandma, she was a housewife, a farm wife of 11 children. That was her options. And then my mom started her own business and did really well, and she still does that today. And then she lived within her constraints and then did better than her mom, my grandma. And now here I am. Here we are in the age of the internet with everything at our fingertips to learn, to really have a bit of leisure time to express our joy, to figure out what lights us up, to reach enlightenment. My goodness, if you said that to my grandpa, who was trying to feed 11 children, work the land, build a house, build things with his own hands, take care of animals, revive animals that were just about dying, because that's what happens, same as in a hospital. You have animals and people passing away. It was so survival based 2 generations ago. And then our moms, I'm 43, so my mom, even within their generation, it wasn't until 1976, I believe, that women were actually able to be on a loan or a credit card application without men. Well, that's a long time ago. That's not. So, money mindset, we are really delayed, whether we are a female or a male. Again, I don't toot the horn of women because money is the great equalizer. If you want to be a feminist, if you want to show the power that a woman can have, speaking to you ladies, make money. It's the greatest equalizer, the greatest way to have power and make difference in your kids' life, your family, your friends, your community, building businesses. Money is the great equalizer, and it helps to provide you with possibilities and choice. So you don't have to struggle. Life is not meant to be a struggle. So just wrapping up, this celebrity, their money kryptonite is obviously having spending habits that often put them at risk of being in financial detriment, credit card debt, so on, so on. So every archetype has their brilliance. Every archetype has their shadow side. Every archetype works with money and feels a different way. All our archetypes are definitely capable of making money, earning money, saving money, investing money, building businesses. A lot of people look at this and they go, oh, I want to be that archetype, because no, you were made a certain way. Just like I said, you have a beautiful gift inside of you. You're a nurturer. Don't wish that away for anything, because the world needs every single sort of person to do different roles. We just need to guard our weakness and learn about it. So let's pick on the nurturer. So the nurturer has no money boundaries, and they're going to give and give because they want to feel important and help people. They're going to give till they put themselves at risk. The nurturer needs to realize that they can help people, but it doesn't always need to involve opening up their wallet or giving money to somebody in need. They can help in other ways. So the brilliance behind the Sacred Money Archetype is it helps you understand you. And in life, it's only you on your journey. And knowing thyself is the center of it all. I talk about the money wheel or money verse, and how our thoughts and beliefs create our feelings create our actions create our results. The reality creation framework. I'm calling that our money verse. At the center of it all, the money wheel, you can look at that as a wheel. You are the hub. You're the only one building your life. If you're not actively building it, that's still a decision. If you're showing up in the same Groundhog Day pattern to work, you're still creating your life. You're just not participating. You're just living on autopilot. So at the hub of the wheel is you. You drive the wheel forward or not. Well, no, I'd say even if you're creating on autopilot, you're still creating. You're just creating in repeat. So you affect everything, and understanding yourself, like I said, is the game of life, but it helps as the first step to becoming a money boss. And that is why I'm so passionate about it. If you want to learn about your sacred money archetypes, head over to the moneybosscollective.co. And you'll find in several spots it says quiz. Take that. Takes about 8 minutes. You can't save it, so make sure you have some uninterrupted time. Once you go through, answer honestly, not how you want to be perceived. Because again, if you cheat the system, you get false results and you can't tap into your brilliance. Don't lie to yourself. At the end of the day, that doesn't help anybody. It gives you false feedback, and then you can't lean into your gifts and manage your weakness if you're lying to the quiz that's going to lie to you. So answer it honestly. Generally, your first gut feeling, go with that, go through the quiz, and you will get an email with your results, and it'll be tallied up with a number from each of the archetypes. You'll get a score for all 8. Find your 3 highest, and then mark it 1, 2, 3 from the highest score to the second to the third. Anything after 3, we don't pay attention to because it's so far down. And for most of the learnings, we pay attention to number 1. If you have a tie, you're going to get a second email. You'll get your quiz results and a second email that will move you over to a page that shares more about the archetypes and how to break a tie if you have 2 scores the same in your top 3. For example, I was a tie for a ruler and an accumulator. And then I asked the tie-breaking question, and I decided that I would lean into the ruler at this phase. So head over to the moneybosscollective.co, take the quiz, and I hope this blows your mind, just gives you that feeling that I had, because there is nothing better than knowing yourself, being at peace, and then going, okay, here's my strengths, weaknesses, gifts. Oh, maybe this is why I get in arguments with my husband, because he's probably an accumulator. I'm a celebrity, whatever the case is. There's deep knowings for yourself. There's deep knowings for your relationship. And there's deep knowing for business potential in all of those. On the free page, we just give a general how it affects your finances, some general information, but I'm sharing more as we go. So I hope this changes your life like it changed mine. I would love to hear from you. If you take the quiz, drop a note or send me a message, social media, wherever you're consuming this. Let me know what your archetypes are. I am fascinated to hear people's combinations and just learn, get some feedback. I want to know that this is affecting you guys as much as I know that it has the potential to. So you are brilliant. Let's get you locked in on your sacred money archetypes so you can step into your personal power, make more money, build your dream life. Let's do this, and we'll see you on next week's episode. Bye-bye.